Hey there, MiniWarGamers. Owen here again with Tim. Once again, we're doing some more War Machine as I figure out this game one army at a time. This time I'm playing Cygnar, and he's playing more Gators. So we'll show you those armies, and remember to go to miniwargaming.com/challenge to challenge myself for another MiniWargamer. And click below if you're interested in getting your own Gator or... They're not lizard men. Gators. Gators. So, stay tuned for the armies.
We work so you can play. MiniWarGaming speed, the cooler, bat rap.
And here we have 25 points of Cygnar. You might recognize this because I may or may not have took it right off of Dan's desk. We've got the Colossal, a Stormwall. We've got Darius as my Warcaster with a Squire and Reinhold. And then a Stormwall, or not a Stormwall, Hammersmith as the other Jack there, 25 points. Then we've got 25 points of Gatormen. We have a Gatormen posse in the back there, as well as a full group of Bog, Trog, Ambushers. Then he's got a Bull Snapper. Then he's got Caliban, an Ironback, and another Bull Snapper. So that's 25 points of Gatormen. Then after this, we just deployed all of our forces. He won the roll-off to deploy first. And he wanted to go first, so he deployed, and then I deployed on this end. So I've got my little half-jacks out all around the Colossal, and his Gators line up against them. So at the beginning of Gatormen Turn 1, starts off like most War Machine turns, where he allocates, rather because he's hordes, he just starts casting Spiny Growth using the Bull Snappers, putting Spiny Growth on a few of the Gators in the Gatormen posse, because it doesn't affect the unit of them. So the first Bull Snapper moves up and charges at Darius, but of course too far, but he gets the extra movement. The Warcaster, Caliban, uses Occultation on the Gators so that they are stealth. Basically, I can't shoot at them with direct hits, or rather I won't be able to hit them directly if I'm further away. The Snapper and Caliban then move up, and the Gatormen posse runs up as well, and so they just move closer. Takes a while though, because he wasn't really sure how he wanted to go about this, so moves them up, and they also use their ability to give them tough. His other Snapjaw, it uses its Animus to put Spiny Growth on another one. So, Cygnar Turn 1 begins, and the Gators have just moved up for the entirety of their turn. Darius first gets his focus there, and don't believe I allocate any. And then he moves up after Reinhold moves over and uses Reload on him. And then Darius takes a pot shot, trying to hit the Gator, but he's out of range, but it scatters, so it goes 3 to 4, and then the second shot goes 5 to 2, which ends up going right over 2 of the Gators there, because it's a 4-inch, I believe. First Gator gets hit I boosted it, so he gets hit quite hard there, doing 5 damage, and the other Gator, he gets hit, and I boosted this one as well, for 2 damage. So that was pretty good start off. The half-jacks move up, and the first one, he runs up, turns into a landmine. Second half-jack runs up and turns into a landmine, which you'll see in just a moment there. Then the Colossal moves up, just advancing, and he does his suppression fire, dropping these AoEs that kind of just want to control the board a bit more, make it so that if he's coming into me, he's got to run into either landmines or AoEs there. And the other Squire moves up, and the Hammersmith moves over because he's probably going to flank me, and the half-jack moves up. So that's it for Cygnar Turn 1. Gatormen Turn 2 begins, and he brings in his Bog, Trog, Ambushers. They all come in right on the flank heading towards Darius, and he goes to take back all of his Fury, but he miscounted pretty much, and the Bull Snapper, one of them actually does Threshold Frenzy, and it runs up and bites the other Gator in the back and kills him. Just like that. So that is definitely unfortunate, and he lets Occultation expire. He doesn't want to upkeep that. And then the Snapper moves up and takes a long shot aiming for Darius and misses, and it scatters off, and that's that. Then he's got his Warcaster, Caliban moves up, and once again he's casting Spiny Growth. He's using the Animus off of the other base to use it, and uses Occultation on himself, and takes a shot at the lightning little tower that got off of the Stormwall. The other Bull Snapper moves around, uses its Animus on on one of the Gatormen in the posse there, so he's got spiny growth, but just for the +2 armor, I think. And then this one moves over and uses its animus, and once again gives another spiny growth. The Gators charge, or they try and charge, but he doesn't quite make it. The first one, he gets shot up by the storm wall for almost all of his health, and then the other one they both all try to advance into the, or at least into range, so that next turn when they do charge, they're going to easily be there. And all the bog trogs, they just advance up, getting as close as they can, and hopefully the hammersmith can come in there and squish them like the little toads that they are. But I actually don't know what they do, so who knows what's going to happen. And that's the end of Gators turn 2. Cygnar turn 2 begins, and now they're all in range, so the fun's going to begin here. I first allocate some focus over to the hammersmith, put 3 on him. Actually, I end up putting 2 and then putting 3 over on the colossal, and the squire gives him an additional 1 just for fun, and he makes a half-jack. And then the other, I blew up one of the mines there just because I had too many out. The hammersmith moves in, and aiming at the first little trog, hits him and squishes. Then he buys an attack, hitting the other trog, and I think I boost this one because I realized that they're not going to go, I can't hit anymore after that, so he squishes 2. Darius just turns around, gets his phasing lined up so he's still not in his back when he goes to the Gatormen's, and fires his shot, which misses and then deviates 6 to 6. So it goes flying, but because he's so close, it can only deviate 3, and so it hits a few of these. Doesn't hurt the first one, doesn't hurt the second one, doesn't hurt the third one, and that's that. Another shot. This one does hit and splatters the first bog trog, and then the second one, it doesn't hurt. Third one, we'll go for that one, doesn't really matter. Does hurt that one, so he got squished. And then the last one over there, he is squished. So a bunch of the bog trogs actually go down, and the little half-track moves up and becomes a landmine. So we've got a mine right in front of me when he comes after me, and I move the squire in between Darius and the bog trogs, once again not knowing what is going to happen. The colossal moves up facing down the Gatormen posse, the bigger gators here, and starts shooting the first one who doesn't have spiny growth, and boosts the damage, hits it pretty solidly, and kills it outright. Then he buys an attack, or rather, now he shoots his other gun that misses even though it was boosted, and doesn't do much. Now he rolls, that was the D3 shots for his machine guns, and he does hit, and does do a bit of damage. Does 4 points there, it was the last one on the list. Then his other gun, he only gets 1 shot as well, and shoots this one, does get a hit, I believe, but does no damage. Drops his lightning pod just for hope for a little bit more, electrocutes that gator, POW 10 hit, and nothing happens because he's got that spiny growth on him. So stay tuned for part 2 and see how this War Machine Bat Rep goes.